There we go. All right, and Lee and Ann, it's all yours.
Thank you, Sean. Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for attending our presentation this afternoon. We will be presenting e-resource access checker, a tool for verifying full access to your electronic collections. My name is Ann Mills, and I'm the cataloging and metadata librarian for the Kennesaw State University Library System. I'll be presenting with Lee Chen, who is the Director of Systems and Online Services, also for the Kennesaw State University Library System. Okay, so I'm just going to start with a brief introduction of how we came across this tool. As we all know from working with electronic packages, that sometimes we or our patrons discover access problems, especially with electronic packages that can contain hundreds or even thousands of titles. So we ask ourselves, do we really have full access to all the resources that are contained in these packages and that we're paying for? It's impossible to manually check each and every title that is part of a package. But wouldn't it be nice to have a tool that allows us to be proactive so that we can know as soon as we purchase a package, which titles could be a problem so that we could take care of it before our patrons happen upon it? Lee discovered such a tool called the e-resource access checker, which uses a simple Ruby script to perform automated link checking and assesses if the vendor is providing access to the title. So in this presentation, I'll outline how I use MarcEdit, a free metadata editing software tool, to convert a file of vendor MARC records to CSV so that these records can then be further manipulated using Excel. This process will allow Lee to run the file through the e-resource access checker. Lee will then demonstrate how to download and install the Ruby script and how to use it to identify any problem titles within a particular collection. So this is the MarcEdit screen that you'll see once you click on the application. It was created by Terry Reese, shout out to Terry, back in 1999. So it's been a very useful tool for many, many years in working with and editing library metadata. So what I'm going to demonstrate is how I converted an MRC file to a tab delimited file for Excel. So under the tools menu, you'll see export, and then right to the right of that, there's a little wizard called export tab delimited records. This, once you select that, then you'll be able to select your MARC file and your options for saving. So this is where you will select your source file, which will be the file containing the vendor MARC records. And then also the output file, which is where the converted MARC file will be saved. Under the select field delimiter, you want to make sure that tab is selected. And then the end field delimiter is just a quotation mark or a semicolon or a comma, either of those things. So this is a screenshot just showing the file name for source. As you can see, it's an MRC file. And then the output file, which is the folder with the green down arrow, will be the location of the MARC file that was converted to CSV. And we'll use that to open up Excel. At this point, you can go ahead and click Next. So here is where you want to define the MARC fields and subfields that you want to export to the spreadsheet. So in the field box here, you want to type in the MARC field number, or you can use the drop-down arrow. I find it a lot easier to just type in the number because there's a lot of, all the MARC field numbers are listed here. So you have to kind of scroll down to find what you're looking for. So it's just easier to type it in, and this application allows you to do so. So once you enter your MARC field number, you can also enter a subfield if that's applicable. So after you do that, you just want to hit add field, and it will populate in this little box. Kind of, you can't really see it, but it's right here in the center. So you want to repeat this process until you have all the MARC fields you want to include in your spreadsheet. So in this case, we added the 245, the 020, and the 856 field. So when you're finished adding all of the mark fields and subfields you need, they will populate, like I said, in this box right here in the center. If everything looks good, you can go ahead and click this export button here at the bottom. One thing I want to point out is to make sure that the 856, which contains the URL, is the last field listed, because the Ruby script will only look at the last column in the spreadsheet. So you'll get a confirmation pop-up saying that items have been exported to, and then it gives you the location and file name. So you can just go ahead and click OK here and then close it. Once you do that, you can go to your desktop or wherever you told it to save the file, and then you can open up that Excel file. Okay, so once you locate your Excel file, it's going to look something like this. And then you can see the marked records that were converted to CSV. And CSV just stands for comma separated values. And it's just a delimited text file that uses commas or semicolons or whatever to separate your fields into different areas. So we want to separate out our data into different columns. So you want to highlight the first column, which is column A only. Once you do that, you can click on data, which is up at the top in the menu bar. And then you want to go over to the right and you want to click on the text to columns feature. And a little wizard is going to pop up and it's going to walk you through these next steps. Make sure that you select Delimited as the file type here. And then you can just go ahead and click next. Okay, here's just step 2 of the columns, text to columns wizard, where you want to make sure that under delimiters tab is selected and your text qualifier is selected, which here is just quotation marks. And so you can go ahead and click next at this point. So this is the last step of the wizard. It just shows that the column data format is just a general format. And then at the bottom here, it gives you like a preview of what it will look like. So if everything looks good, you can go ahead and click on the finish button. So once you click finish, you can see that the mark field data is now separated into columns. And notice that this 856 field is in the last column, which is necessary for running this through the Ruby script. So after I review this spreadsheet and I see that everything is okay, I then email this to Lee so she can run this information through the access checker. And with that being said, I will now turn it over to Lee, who will demonstrate how to download and install the Ruby script that will run the e-resource access checker. And let me stop sharing. Okay, Lee.
Right, yeah, thank you. And let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, thank you, Anne. Now I will demonstrate how to install and use the Access Checker. The Access Checker was developed by North Carolina University Library IT. It only works with Windows. It works in Windows PowerShell environments. It's written in JRuby language, so you need to download and install JRuby to have it work. So I'll show you where to find the JRuby. Okay, so you go to jruby.org and then you download the exe file. Any version is above 1.73, it should be okay. So you click exe file and run it. So since I already did it, I'm not going to run it again. But I'll show you in my working environment. Can you see my my folder?
Folders, yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah, thank you. So this is what I downloaded, and Now I create a folder called Ruby script. I copy all of the download file to this folder. Then you need to install two scripts. One is called celerity, one is called highline. How to do it? You need to go to PowerShell. So let me get a PowerShell. So here is the PowerShell. You need to go to the directory you created. I created a directory called Ruby script. So type cd Ruby script. So that's the directory. And then you type following syntax, jruby -s install celerity. So that's the code script you need to install. Since I'm already installed, so I'm not going to repeat. So this is a type of, it should be dash. Okay. So you needed to install another code, use the same syntax, it's called highline, and hit return. I'm not going to repeat hit return since I already installed. So after install these two scripts, you need to go to GitHub to download code that University of North Carolina library developed. That's the access checker code. So let me delete this part. So this one is, let me move this, yeah. So this is the GitHub and the University North Carolina Library Access Checker code. So you come here to download the code. Since I already downloaded, I'm not going to repeat, but in here, when I go to download, in here, it has an access checker main zip file. So in here, you need to find access checker.rb, this file, copy this file to the folder you created. So I copy to here. Now you can start it to run the program. One thing you need to copy the file, which converted from MARC record to CSV file. This is the file which is Anne gave to me, CSV file. She did, we did a canopy. So this is a canopy.csv. So that's the file she gave to me. I copied to this folder. Next, I go to PowerShell, use the following syntax, jruby s score s capital S access underscore checker dot RB. That is the file. Let me copy it. Yeah. So I'll just explain a little bit about the syntax. So this is the access checker .rb North Carolina library developed. Canopy TS 12, Canopy TS, I think the file is called Canopy TS. Canopy, we got, I think the file called Canopy, yeah. That's the file that Anne gave to me. And then Canopy output file is the file created by Access Checker, recorded what record is right, what record need to has an issue, as access issue. So after that, you hit return. Whoops, I think my file is wrong. Oh,
It's 12.
it's 12, yeah. I think, so hit a return. Now here is the whole of the package you can use to run. So the file Anne gave to me is a canopy. So I just type KAN. So hit the return, it start to run. It takes a fairly long time. So today I'm not going to run it, but I'm going to show you what's the result. So here is the result of the report. So you can see, sorry, yeah. The first four said check manually, and after first four, it said full access, and some, and after that have check manually. So I gave you example, what does it mean? So the first one said check manually. The title is the Children of the Light. So I copy this, go to our Primo, type the title, get that record. So this is a Canopy streaming services. So when we click this one, because it said check manually, so it said the Kansas State University doesn't offer Children of Light, of the light right now. So that when we find this issue, cataloger can correct this issue either by contact vendor or take the record of our from our Primo. The other one I want to show, this one is said full access. So I'll copy the title and then so when I click it, we can play it, means we have access. So I think that's it, how it works. Yeah. So Anne has already talked about how to convert it MARC record to CSV in order for me to run in Access Checker. And I demonstrate how to install and run this program. We found by using this program, we become very proactive and save our time to, sorry. Oops, yeah. Yeah, so by using our time and the manpower to check each record, so we can be more proactive instead of a student or user let us know what there's an issue with a record. But there are some limitations by using this application because it's only have 36 packages were developed, and if you have the manpower and skill, you can contribute more packages. You can contact University of North Carolina Library for further details. Second limitation is some vendor platform now use a modern JavaScript frameworks, which are causing problem for Access Checker to check the URL links. the IT people, in UNC are aware of this issue. They just don't have a time to handle it. And they will try to fix it when they have time. I think that's our presentation. Any question for us? I guess no question. No. Thank you so much for joining our session for our presentation. And you have anything to add?
Unmute. No, if they have questions, Lee, go back to the first slide with our contact. You can contact Lee or I via email.
Let me
The very first slide. Oh, Lee, we have a question.
Okay.
From Jim. He wants to know how difficult was it to install Ruby?
I don't think it's a very difficult. If you follow the step, it should be easy. All of the step is listed on our slideshow. But if you have any issue, you're welcome to contact us.
And Lee, did you mention they could also add packages if somebody is really talented with writing scripts and working with these type of things? You can add packages. Right now, there's only, I think, 36 packages that work with the access checker. But like I said, if you have the manpower and people who are very talented at doing this type of thing, you can add packages. And
also, I send the contact info. That's from North Carolina Library, IT. He's a software developer for this one. So he's very helpful. When I have an issue, I contact him. So I send to the chat his contact information.
Any more questions? No, it's been a long week, so.
Yeah, I'm glad that we're short.
But if there aren't any more questions, thank you so much for attending, everybody, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. Tomorrow's Friday, so yay.
Yeah.
Thank y'all, and we'll have the recording and slides up fairly soon. So everyone have a great day.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.